On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. We do have drones over the United States right now, and it's, well, by design, actually, especially over Los Angeles. This is bad for the deep state. We are finding out all sorts of information. We have busted all sorts of people, and this is going to be a warning, especially for those that are planning on doing something on the 14th this weekend. We will be watching. We will not let you burn down cities. Trump's not going to. Seattle, Chicago, you guys are not going to be allowed to burn down your cities. We're not going to let you. So this is not going to go the way they want. They're not going to get the momentum they need. And in fact, the louder they try to get, the harder we will shut them down. And so, to a degree, and I think many of us feel this way, we kind of welcome it, don't we? Kind of almost want to, let's finally get this going, right? Let's get this damn game going. So, yes, we are, in fact, getting the damn game going. Again, got a great Law of One coming up today. Hopefully you guys will be able to join us for that. That should be a lot of fun. It's, from my standpoint, just under 3 hours from right now, we'll be doing that show live. 3 p.m. Pacific on Thursdays, 6 Eastern. And we also do a music show on Fridays at the same time. So we got a major plane crash that happened in India. This is the first 787 that has crashed. This caused Boeing stock to crater. Went down like 8% this morning. This is bad news for Boeing. One's got to wonder why. Boeing got a lot of sweet deals with the United States government. Boeing got a really sweet deal with Qatar and them buying a crap ton of airplanes. And we've got Elon Musk, who's supposedly the guy that's going to go to space. So what has Boeing got? I mean, who knows, right? McDonnell Douglas, they absorbed, obviously, so maybe it's the F-15 and some of the stuff that's coming, but a lot of money being spent with Boeing, wondering why they seem to be getting slammed or slimed, better way to say it, so often. It's very strange. This is super sad. This plane crashed right after takeoff, full of fuel. 242 people on board, including 53 citizens of the United Kingdom. One survivor. That's the crazy thing. One friggin' survivors. One dude survived somehow. Don't know how. That's the dude walking. You know, they say any crash you can walk away from is a okay landing, or any landing you can walk away from, I guess, is an okay landing. Obviously, no, not in this case, but this dude somehow, he supposedly dove out of the emergency exit. He was seat 11A. One dude out of all the people on the plane. Talk about a little bit of survivor's guilt. We do have a little bit of video showing the crash, kind of. I don't know why it cuts the way it does, but yeah. The plane was definitely struggling. Gear still down. Seemed to be trying to pitch up. Probably not enough power is what we're hearing or understanding. I will say the engines didn't sound like they were fully gigged up either, so I'm not sure what all was going on there and what's potentially the problem. But yeah, this plane it's very sad. And again, Boeing stock took a giant crap. South Africa also investigates fatal air crash that occurred this last weekend. It was in ZwaZulu Natal, I guess. 2 student pilots and a medical student, and 2 turntables and a microphone, I guess. But yes, another weird crash. Not the only weird thing that happened today by any stretch, or recently. JetBlue, it apparently, veered off the runway. Came to a stop in the grass. I mean, it seems to be okay, but that's generally not where we leave aircraft as a general rule, you know. We also have this massive toxic leak that has happened someplace out of Zaleski, Ohio. I don't know. Check this.
The news is gonna be here, boys. Holy shit! Holy fuck. Hey, window.
supposedly this stuff is really, really toxic. Like the whole town's being evacuated there in Vladimir Zaleski, Ohio. Strange name for the city. Over 5,000 gallons of nitric acid. That stuff, that gas itself is corrosive. So very, very bad. They've got a no-fly zone over. Not good. So again, some weird, bad stuff going on. Want to remind you guys, of course, of My Pillow. I love My Pillow. They are the best night of sleep you've ever had. I'll tell you that much. You should check them out. They've got they got the exclusive now. We got a new Roll and Go. You get a free one. With God, all things are possible. Look at that, multi-use. That's cool. So I guess they got rid of all the USA flag ones. Now we've got these really cool With God, all things are possible. This is a special exclusive gift just for you guys using the OTF coupon code. Gonna get this. That's really cool. That's actually beautiful. I assume that's the tree of knowledge or whatever, or is this just by a river? I don't know. It's beautiful though. That is very cool. I love it. I love what he's doing. Hopefully he's doing all right in his case. They've got this next generation energy drink that is fantastic. Tastes delicious, great energy, and it's no caffeine or any of that kind of weird stuff, so you don't get that weird crash. It's the same energy your body creates when you haven't eaten anything, and like you go into the gym, your body literally chemically starts to break down like fat or whatever. And it starts to create energy through that process. You don't have any normal carbohydrates getting burned or anything weird like that. It uses that exact same chemical. So it's your body knows exactly what to do with it. It doesn't do anything about messing up whether or not you're in ketosis or not, because there's no sugar. There's 10 milligrams of salt. I mean, this is basically, there's nothing in it. It is surprisingly good. Also, best towels you're ever going to use. They've got a bunch of different deals going on. $9.99 on the dish towels, and of course you've got the regular towels. I think normally they're like $29.99. I'm not sure what they're giving them away at this point. Also, 50% off their beach towels. Again, great towels, just great quality towels, and they've got some really, really cool prints, and they're really big. These beach towels are actually surprisingly big. I've got like 3 of them, and I was shocked how large they are. I was like, crap, these are kind of like the big bath towels, basically. They're about that size. They're really big. Also, Giza sheets. That's that high thread count sheet. Super deep pockets, that fourth corner, very easy to get on there, right? Even if you've got toppers, it is fantastic, or a topper. The Mike has been pushing out that cross, so he's got 2 different versions of it. They're made in sterling silver. One's got the inside of it's white with like an outer sort of black color, and then this one that's pictured here with the black innard and the silver on the outside. They've got men and women's 50% off. They're just beautiful crucifix. And of course the pillows. They've got the standard down here. I love that. And of course pillows for your dogs. You gotta get yourself a dog bed. Got to. Even if you don't have a dog, it's a reason to get a dog. That's what I'm talking about. And they got the pet blanket too. If you got that dog or maybe cat that's on the same part of the couch that refuses to get off, there's a way around that, right? You got a new couch, old dog. Sometimes it helps just to get a new pet blanket, and you've solved all your problems. And again, jury trials going on with Mike Lindell right now, so hopefully things are going well with that. I'm not sure when I will be meeting with him next. Every other it's typically every other Wednesday, and we'll see which Wednesday we finally start hooking back up. That should be coming soon, I hope. But go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get some really awesome stuff. Help out a great company, and you're also helping out Mike Lindell while you're doing that. So if you go to mypillow, and my channel, by the way, you're helping a whole bunch of people out. And yourself. You're getting some really cool stuff and the best night of sleep you've ever had. My gosh. Go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Kind of feel like I already said to get the best night of your sleep you've ever had 3 times now. Okay. Anyway, so we've got a nice picture here of a drone. Department of Homeland Security's Predator B drones are orbiting over Los Angeles. So yes, we are spying on us for sure, but pulling in all sorts of information, cell phone data, if you think about just gobs of information that's actually being pulled in right now. Now again, I'm not thrilled with the fact that we're being spied on, but considering what's happening, like many have said, we would be willing to do this. Now that's concerning in and of itself, right? There's a lot of people that felt like we were just trading masters going with Trump. I don't think that's the case. I still don't. At least Trump was trying to give freedom, and he seems to be going in that direction. But I guess sometimes we're going to have to maybe lock down a little bit before we can open it back up, and I'm uncomfortable with that part. In fact, I feel like to some degree we've already got a curfew put in place in Los Angeles. I would figure this might be getting us close to that place where we're actually going to have the was the military blackout that everyone wanted, the right, the where the military can, kind of take away our rights. I've been kind of against that happening, but considering what is possibly about to spin up, especially this weekend, might be necessary, right? Martial law, I think they call it. There you go. So again, a lot of crazy stuff going on. Drones flying. We've got one group we're finding out that's supporting the Los Angeles protests. We've actually, seems like there's 2 or 3 groups that we've already peeled out. I think I've got a story or something on each. But one of the ones that's recently come to attention, this Party for Socialism and Liberation, the PSL, is under scrutiny for organizing Los Angeles anti-ICE protests that turned into riots. So they are one of the groups. They issued a statement on social media platform X supporting the Los Angeles protests, confirming their public endorsement and involvement in the protests. We know that the IRS is definitely involved right now in looking at a lot of these groups. They will figure out who's spending the money, where the money's coming from, and where they're spending it. The guy that the pickup truck that was handing out the masks or whatever they were, they got him. I mean, not to spoiler alert, we'll get there in a sec, but they're catching these people all over the place. It's not the old deep state FBI, it's actual legitimate FBI right now. New leftist talking point says, don't believe the riot videos. They're just algorithms. They're just serving you up algorithms based off of what kind of person you are. That is essentially what they're saying. Essentially saying, look, if you're seeing videos of riots, it's because they're presenting videos of riots to you, which says something about you. So they're trying to actually deny that these are even legitimate. MSNBC reporter says riots are relatively mellow, while there's, of course, burning. Rachel Madcow says that the riots are joyful. We got this correspondent dude. He's claiming that the videos of violence are what people are seeing online. It depends on what your feed is putting in front of your face, and a lot of it is algorithmically controlled. They used to control the algorithm. They didn't mind back then, right? But now they do. Now they do mind, don't they? Yeah, so it's changing times, it would seem. Yeah, Brian Stelter, of course. All these tards. I mean, again, it's just left-leaning media. Who gives a crap? The illegal alien charged with attempted murder for the Molotov cocktail attack on cops. This guy was actually already kicked out of the country once, snuck back in. He is now arrested. They caught him. He is the one that threw Molotov cocktails a cocktail at the police, and they have now busted him. And I don't know if he's going to serve time here first before they send him back or what's going to happen, but yeah, this dude's already been busted before. FBI busts alleged LA riot leader who was filmed helping to distribute the bionic shield face masks to protesters. I'll play some of this here for you. Let's make sure we got the right one. Check this out. Or try to. They don't like my ad blocker.
A very different scene. And are those hats that you wear that are more like helmets? I mean, this is a worrying sight. I mean, Christina's site, which is like very close by, she was describing a festive atmosphere, and it looked like a lot of folks, including a lot of older folks, who were there for the right reasons.
This guy's tagging the sidewalk, right?
You know, this is troublemakers.
Yeah, they caught that guy. That's another example of what's going on. Kind of has got that military look about him. Certainly not from this country, though, does he? He doesn't look like he's military here, does he? No. Nope. But, yeah, and this dude who was driving, I think that was him. Yeah, it looks like him. Yeah. So, there you go. That's how that's playing out. So, again, we've got stuff that's literally spying on people right now, but catching them, too. All these idiots that have cell phones on them and are using them for anything at all is, I mean, one, just even having a cell phone on you if you're going to go out and commit crime is stupid. You don't want to have a cell phone on you. Army General says Marines may temporarily detain protesters in Los Angeles while they wait for cops to show up and arrest them. They aren't going to arrest. They aren't allowed to arrest, posse comitatus and all that good stuff, right? But if they are helping, if they are protecting, essentially national interests within a city, within the United States, and somebody does something crazy, they sure as hell can put that guy face down on the ground, put a knee in their back, and hold them until the cops show up, or whatever they choose to do. Maybe they put flex cuffs on them. I don't know. Fortunately, I don't know a lot about getting arrested. That's a good thing. We got the ICE. They're still out running around arresting people here in California. They were out in a couple different locations. This one image is from El Monte, and again, arresting a whole bunch of illegal major criminals. And they're literally going up to their houses and still arresting. So people are literally protesting in Los Angeles, and that is not stopping the ICE officials in any way, shape, or form. Got some pretty good stuff here from Hemseth. They tried hard to be a total dick to this guy, and he held his ground. I'm proud of him, and I'm going to play, I think, like 4 of these. Check these out.
PD, you mentioned that. There would be 18,000 if not for the defund movement that folks like Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have implemented. The police chief said she was overwhelmed,
so we helped. If the Secretary's not going to ask the budgetary questions, I will yield back my time if the Secretary refuses to answer the budgetary questions I put before him. They're important. What training missions aren't happening? Where are you pulling the money from? And how are you planning this in moving forward? These are budget questions that affect this committee and the decisions we're going to be making in a couple of hours. If you're not going to answer them, please let the chairman know, and I will take back my time and I will yield it back to the chairman.
Mr. Secretary, I want to just let us know what accounts you're pulling the money to fund.
Thankfully, unlike the previous administration, we've got a 13% increase in our defense budget, and we will have the capability to cover down on contingencies, which is something the National Guard and the Marine plan for. So we have the funding to cover down on contingencies, especially ones as important as maintaining law and order in a major American city. As far as training, all of the units on the ground have been fully trained in their capabilities of what they're executing on the ground.
For budgetary, if he needs to get back to the committee with the numbers, I'd appreciate it, both current and present.
I'm happy to submit them for the record.
Love it. Right? It's so retarded. Again, we got more of it here. Congresswoman DeLauro losing control. I think this is the one with the purple hair. I wish I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Where that is going and what your plan is for the continued advancements to meet production levels and make sure that that is an area that's covered for our national security.
Ma'am, I fully acknowledge the investment this committee has made in shipbuilding, and the challenge is our department under the previous administration squandered a lot of that by
Please, I want your plan. I've had difficulties with the prior administration, and I don't mind calling them out. What is your plan for the future? Can we get that in writing and on paper so that we know where you're going? Because we don't have anything today. We have zip, nada, and knowing where you're going. You can talk percentages, you can talk about whatever you want, but unless this committee sees dollars and cents and where you're going and what your plan is, then we may reconsider what you need to do to go forward. Give us the details.
Congresswoman, we have the details and we will provide
Then
them
let's
for you.
have them and my hope is that we could get to it before we go to a markup within a few hours here today. I yield back my time, Mr. Chair.
Gentlelady yields back her time.
I would seriously kill myself if I was married to her. I would, and I would consider that to be the most humane approach to taking care of that situation. Chicago mayor says Trump is what the U.S. would have looked like if the Confederacy won. I mean, the main thing here is, does he not understand the Confederacy was the Democrats? That's like, you guys are the Confederacy. That you are the Confederacy. You are the party of the South. You are the slave owner party. That's right. Like, you guys get that, right? I don't understand. Chicago. 8 NYPD vehicles were torched in suspected arson attack as cops find undetonated explosive devices nearby as well. So again, things are spreading into other areas right now. Mayor Adams warns anti-ICE New York protesters, we will not allow you to destroy our city. Very much won't allow you to. I don't know if this is him talking in here or not. I don't think so. Check it out. We'll see. Once the ad's done. Yeah. See, New York's doing what they're supposed to do, right? They're doing what they're supposed to do. I didn't know if Mayor Eric Adams was talking in this particular video or not. But yeah, there obviously is a lot going on. He's warning them. He's warning. I mean, again, these are what the governors are supposed to do. These are the good governors. There's examples of good, and we got the bad one, of course. But here's DeSantis saying some pretty strong words. In fact, we got a couple things from Florida that are just like, damn. Got a Florida sheriff. Double damn. Double damn.
And we also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
Wow, right? Like, think about that for a second. None of this shit's going to happen in Florida. Because the second they try to surround a car and somebody literally runs them over, again, you know, it's you take out a few of these people and that person's no longer around to do this in the future. No longer able to inspire others. There is leadership. There's a leadership command. Now, most of these people don't know who they are. But there is a leadership, and they're figuring out a lot of that stuff right now. Or have already. I think they have already. And now they're waiting for the same thing to take place so they can take advantage of it. Now, Seattle being an example of what you shouldn't do, well, we've got this douchehole. Seattle Police Department says they won't engage in immigration enforcement and will limit their cooperation with ICE. Who wants to bet that the National Guard will be brought in, thanks to Trump, into Seattle once they start burning that city? Who wants to bet? Of course, it's going to be like that. We all know. It's playing out. Oh, here's Florida again. This is just like, holy shit, is all I can say.
So I'm gonna break it down for you, all right? And if somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent, all right, this is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway, in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers that are being attacked, being spit on, being put in harm's way just for doing their jobs. You're seeing ICE agents that are being targeted for doing their jobs. And you're seeing obstructionists that are doing all of this, standing in the way of law and order.
I mean, when they put it like that, and especially Florida, you guys got some serious rights. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome, right? You guys probably aren't going to have too bad a go at this. California and Washington, the whole West Coast. I mean, Oregon. We're gonna have some serious issues. But come on, karmically we deserve it, unquestionably. Anyways, Kristi Noem, we got a couple interesting things that happened. She had a good little speech here, and then some drama ensued at this conference, or the press conference she was at.
With their leadership, and we also have the IRS here that's helping us track how these violent protesters are funded, what NGOs out there, what unions, what other individuals may be funding these violent perpetuators that are in these protests that take people who may be wanting to come and be peaceful, but instead turn these into very violent activities that go after law enforcement. That's just simply not acceptable. And I also...
Yeah, big time not acceptable. So we are digging into the money. The money's going to be key. Money is key. And the fact that we're moving as quickly as we are, moving at the speed of the activity. No longer dealing with the Biden administration or the deep state versions of the FBI, for example. We've got literal, legitimate FBI. California Senator Alex Padilla was physically removed and, yes, even arrested. We'll play both.
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your hands off.
How many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty, how they have been targeted.
These people that are in politics don't understand. Nobody's above the law. You know that stupid shit you guys kept saying back then? Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. Da, 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 da. Guess what? Your mofo ass ain't above the law either.
Ground. On the ground. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go and stand behind my back.
All right. Cool. One hand. Lay flat. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
There's no recording loud out here. I did not.
Not exactly the best view of this senator, but then kind of is almost, huh? Like I kind of want to see Nancy Pelosi in that position, though. You know, it's not going to be good. I mean, it'll be embarrassing for her, of course. Let's see, House Committee going on here. Oversight and Accountability is going to issue a formal document request to Neville Roy Singham. He is a 71-year-old American tech entrepreneur who resides in Shanghai, regarding his alleged financial support of groups connected to recent anti-ICE demonstrations in Los Angeles. He is the founder and former chairman of ThoughtWorks. It's an IT consulting company he sold to private equity firm Apex Partners for $785 million in 2017. A New York Times investigation in August of 2023 revealed that Singham sits in the center of a network that uses American nonprofits to push Chinese talking points worldwide. He lives in Shanghai, China, married to Code Pink co-founder Jody Evans. Previous reporting indicates Singham has channeled over $20 million into these left organizations that are involved in some of this stuff. Donald Trump truthed this out. Los Angeles was safe and sound for the last 2 nights. Our great National Guard, with a little help from the Marines, put the LA police in a position to effectively do their job. They all worked well together, but without the military, Los Angeles would be a crime scene like we haven't seen in years. Governor Gavin Newsom had totally lost control of the situation. He should be saying thank you for saving his ass instead of trying to justify his mistakes and incompetence. Fantastic. Here's Trump, talking about bringing the military in if he has to, anywhere. He's going to clean it up. He's not going to let these governors and mayors ruin cities. No more.
Even if you're not planning to invoke that Insurrection Act, you still plan to send troops?
Well, we're going to have troops everywhere. We're not going to let this happen to our country. We're not going to let our country be torn apart. I mean, if we see danger to our country and to our citizens, we'll be very, very strong in terms of law and order. It's about law and order. If they stand in the way of law and order, they will face charges. Thank you very much.
You just have to like that song. I don't know what I mean. Obviously, Rocky made it cool, Survivor made it cool, I guess technically, but Rocky put it on the map. That's for sure. Democratic governors face contentious hearings on their sanctuary states. I think there was 3 of them in particular: Hochul, Tim Walz, and Pritzker from Illinois. They were all present. I haven't seen anything major come from it yet. I was watching a little of it, but I literally wanted to punch my own face at some point, and I was like, I'm done with this. Like, if something happens, hopefully someone will share with us. Trump administration sues New York over law blocking immigration arrests at courthouse. New York trying to pass laws. Hey, you can't do that. They're like, hell yeah, we can. First off, courthouses generally are federal courthouses. Generally, there's probably state ones too. So I'm sure but. What they can do and can't do. I don't think they can block federal people. That's like protecting. That's offering sanctuary. I just think that all of that's illegal. I don't think there's any way in hell that has a chance to stand on anything. And again, it's indicative of what we get with these hardcore left-leaning rulers, leaders. You know, it's funny, and I think I maybe have the slide, but there's all the inflation, the worst inflation, all of it is, and then when they do it by state too, the worst inflation, the sort of bad, and then like not bad, the worst is all deep, deep blue, all of it. And what a lot of it ties to, by the way, and they're about to try to do this to the entire nation. And again, I am all about like people making more money, but I am not about raising minimum wage. Raising minimum wage is 100% guarantee inflation. 100% guarantee inflation. 100% guaranteed inflation. And everybody wants to do it because it sounds awesome. And it is for about 4 seconds. And then it becomes shit. Rents go way up. Everything goes way up. The prices of everything go way up. You know, all these people, it's funny, girlfriend, you know, being from the Philippines, I was talking to a friend of mine that's Chinese. And it's like when you're used to, actually, sorry, Hispanic was when someone sends money back to Mexico. But when you're, you know, in another or in this country from another country, the people from that country think you're rich. And what's funny is everybody that's here from these other countries, they want to seem like they're rich, but they know full well it's extraordinarily expensive here. Yeah, I make good money. I also pay a crap ton of money, right? So it's this idea that you're rich because you live in America is absurd. And so, yeah, this is, I think, one of the problems you start to have when you raise the minimum wage is you create an inflation and everything. Rents specifically. Rents will go up like extraordinarily because people will start buying stuff and it just, yeah, it happens very, very quickly. It's pretty messed up. And the worst part, say you're somebody that's like, you know, minimum wage, I think $7.50. It's like, I don't know, it's like $20 here. It's retarded. But it's like $7.50 in some places. And my understanding is, like, say you've been working at a place for like 10 years, right? You might be making $15, which might be decent money where you live. Like here, you homeless people make more than that, but like $15 might be a lot, you know, out in East Tennessee or something like that. I don't know what it is nowadays, but whatever, you know, you get the point. And so when they raise the minimum wage, like they said, to $15, that guy making $15, he doesn't get a $15 raise. They don't give him a $7 raise. They don't give him a $6 raise. They don't give him a $5 raise. They don't give him a $2 raise. He literally, after 10 years of work, is now making minimum wage because they just raised minimum wage. No business anywhere will raise your salary equivalent to what you are above minimum wage now. No one. Zero businesses will do that. So any people that think that's what, oh, just, you know, if I'm making $5 more than minimum wage now and they raise minimum wage, then they'll just pay me $5 more than minimum wage, right? I'll be making $20 an hour. It'll be awesome. And they'll be like, nope, you'll make minimum wage. And he'll probably lay some people off because it'll be way more expensive now to hire or to have employees. Again, I'm not trying to kick the dead horse. Most people are like, oh, I want more money. I get it, but that's not how you do it. That's not the right way to go about it. Just having this communistic kind of everybody gets the same amount of money kind of thing, yeah, that doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. Ex-CIA analyst who leaked the docs about Israeli strike on Iran was sentenced to 37 months in prison. The dude's not bummed at all, and they totally intentionally stole that information and gave it away, or sold it, or whichever. Not a surprise. President Trump signs an executive order on drones, flying cars, and supersonics. Basically just opening up, letting people finally start getting into this, looking into testing a lot of these technologies, these drones, they're saying eVTOLs, but they better be like some friggin' powered ones too with other forms rather than just battery powered. The electric stuff is, I mean, again, like it better have some gas in there turning a generator and then it's electric, like something, because then it'll go much longer, it'll last way longer. So I'm sure there's some stuff that's similar or even cooler technology, who knows. So it's going to open all that up. Some say this might actually get drones maybe a little more made here in the United States, and we'd stop purchasing the ones from China because China's probably using most of those to map everywhere they fly and then send that image, that stuff back to them using our internet, of course. I mean, this is good. There's good, all over the place. We went quiet on all those drones that were happening, right? The ones that Biden was aware of. got to wonder about that too. Like, right? That didn't spin up at all again. I mean, they kind of told us what it was, but nothing again. Never since, right? No motherships off the coast. Seems strange to me, that's all. DNC members voted Wednesday to vacate the elections of DNC Vice Chair David Hogg and Malcolm Kenyatta. They got rid of both these people. They hated these two, by the way. They had some sort of election, which I don't trust, but whatever. I don't care. It's DNC. They can cheat as much as they want. That's their thing. 75% of the people, apparently, actually voted to vacate. Nobody likes this dude. This dude's pissed off a lot of people. I think it's funny. It's infighting, so always appreciate it. He was going to primary a lot of the Dems that weren't towing the progressive line, and they didn't like that at all. The CIA, they released 54 classified documents related to Senator Robert F. Kennedy's assassination. This is a big step. Ratcliffe is the dude in charge over there, and this was found, apparently, and released as per President Trump. So another 54 pages. I haven't actually dug into them yet. I'm sure people will, and we'll see what if there's anything in there that's worth a crap, hopefully. Trump's DOJ makes it its most sweeping demands for election data yet. This is a big deal. They're hitting Colorado, too. Super important. They are demanding an unprecedented amount of records, they're saying. This is NPR that did this story, so it's going to be a slant in that left direction. But the DOJ, transformed by Trump's administration, reviews cases targeting the president's political allies and caters to his desires. So again, it's just this is why NPR is not going to get taxpayer money. It's so heavily leaning in one direction. It doesn't tell the truth. It's not even worried about the truth. Anywho, May 12th, the Justice Department asked Colorado's Secretary of State to turn over all records relating to the 2024 federal elections, as well as preserve any records that remain from the 2020 elections. It's a huge request, they're saying. They're very worried about what they're going to do with this data. Jenna Griswold is speculating, of course, and trying to spin it, but in the big picture, I think we all have a decent idea of what probably is happening. They're looking for, well, one, stuff to deal with Tina Peters, and I think other stuff. I think they're gonna dig into it, especially with the records they now have access to. I think with cross-referencing Social Securities and voting records and all that kind of stuff, they can now actually look to see how many voters in Colorado were not actually legal voters in the federal election, because they've got that data now. They can connect those points because of Doge. Yeah, it's not good for them. Scott Bessent says that the CCP must course correct. We've got to change direction, they say, and my girl's back. I was very happy to see her back. She's, right? Like she give me that look. Give me that look. Love it. Anywho, sorry, she disappears quickly.
Meyer, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent testified before House lawmakers today, just hours after he returned from trade talks in London with officials of the Chinese Communist Party. He says China needs to make major changes to its economic model. NTD's Washington correspondent Jack Bradley has the details.
But the country needs to be a reliable partner in trade negotiations.
Testifying before the House Ways and Means Committee on Wednesday, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called the U.S.-China negotiations successful as both sides agreed to a trade framework.
If China will course correct by upholding its end of the initial trade agreement we outlined in Geneva, and I believe after our talks in London they will, then the rebalancing of the world's two largest economies is possible.
He says the U.S. is giving the CCP a chance to correct its course, and that China has one path forward. Stop what it's been doing for decades, stop overproducing goods with government subsidies, and then dumping those goods onto the world market and thereby undercutting global trade. And he says that they need to start consuming and making products for their own domestic market.
China currently has the most imbalanced economy in the history of the world. They are in the midst of a real estate downturn. Some may cause a crisis, and they are trying to export their way out of it rather than take domestic measures.
Besson says that if the CCP keeps increasing exports in the way that it has, it will cause substantial decreases to the standard of living for Americans and those around the world. Now, some House Democrats raised concerns at this hearing that the CCP has not made good on their previous promises in trading with the U.S., and that trade deals with the communist regime going forward should be given greater oversight through Congress.
And although it committed to increasing its imports from the U.S. by $200 billion from 20 to 21, it only followed through with 58% of its promised purchases.
China has failed to meet these purchase commitments. Those were purchase commitments that were negotiated by Trump in his first administration.
They met their agreements under President Trump in 2020, and President Biden did not enforce them, and the Chinese delegation told me that they did not believe they needed to adhere to them.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Also, what came up is the danger of the U.S. relying on China for pharmaceuticals and how vulnerable the U.S. would be to relying on the CCP, its greatest adversary, for this life-saving medicine.
That actually gives them negotiating leverage. I think it would be a tragic mistake if they were ever to flip off that switch, but it's always there. They could.
Besson also said that the Chinese regime has been an unreliable trading partner in the past, and that during this time around, the U.S. tariffs on China and other countries are meant to increase domestic manufacturing, and that will give the U.S. a better position in the event that China once again breaches its contract. Reporting by Jack Bradley, NTD News.
Yeah, swapping out Tiffany Myers for Jack Bradley. No, thank you. No, thank you with your red chapstick having lips. What is up with those, buddy? Weird as shit, I notice. I don't know what's wrong with me. Beijing, they're kind of holding this rare earth thing over us. And they're kind of like, we're going to give you like 6 months at a time. And that way, if you screw us in any way, shape, or form, we can pull back the rare earths and you're going to be hurting for certain very shortly. Now, obviously, the United States is doing everything in its power to find more of these specific elements and manufacturing and processing of it. Or we've got to figure out a way to get everybody happy on this planet to work together and stop hating each other. Again, that might be a bigger sell or ask than trying to create manufacturing of this product. Oh, Lord. But needless to say, that's the game they're playing. We have some rare earth stuff with plastics. We started just sending our natural gas, I think it was, propane. We started sending that over to them, which still seems weird to me that like, okay, you don't know how to make propane? Like, it's a reasonably simple molecule. I was just shocked. Anyway, whatever the case is, they're not good at it, apparently. We are super good at it, apparently. Inflation's highest in Democrat states, lowest in Republican states. Sort of talked about this graphic earlier, but you get the general gist of it, right? The red's the worst, highest inflation, all the super Democrat-leaning states. Lowest, the more blue you are, kind of, I don't know. I mean, the more red you are, your lower inflation. But Mississippi's kind of high, and it's very Republican, isn't it? I believe so. Tennessee kind of has been. Kentucky kind of has been. But you get the point, the general gist. The worst places are the most communistic of the Democrats, right? The most communistic Democratic states, because Chicago's not even in there and should be probably, right? Illinois there, and then Michigan. Like those, like super red. Whatever. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. Slowly but surely. Layoffs, we're finally starting to see the jobless numbers again starting to rise. Again, I've been expecting this. I'm surprised it took this long. They laid off a bunch of people from government, which is good. If they're going to take some of the more government cheese, but they've been taking government cheese, so nothing's really changed. They're still being paid by taxpayers, just like they were before. Maybe a teeny bit of it's not coming back, but whatever the case, they're going to get jobs. We'll find jobs, or they'll just whatever. They're going to suck it for a while. But yeah, jobless rose a bunch, mostly in California. Oh, isn't that interesting? Kentucky's had a reversal the most. That's interesting. California's the worst. Was like Minnesota, Pennsylvania. Was it Texas next? Florida. So yeah, it's a lot of people losing jobs. Again, a lot of government jobs have been shut down. A lot of funds from USAID shut down. Another investment we've got coming into the country, which is going to help, again, it's kind of the good news, right? Powdered sugar on its herd. Micron's going to invest $200 billion in America as well. Going to help reinforce global chip dominance. Being able to make chips and all the infrastructure for the chips, the wafer that they put the chip on and everything. I mean, there's a lot to the whole process. How much of that we're actually going to be doing here, I don't know. We'll have to figure out how to do it. We'll hopefully do it cleaner and better than most places. We're going to do it with a lot of automation. This is one thing that most people don't realize. It's one of the things that's kind of funny. You think about some of the jobs that they are, quote, taking from people, but I don't know. They're jobs that are almost cause things to be more expensive because people are doing them than what they could, like taxis, for example, right? We got all these taxis that are going to be cruising around just as robots. So it's the cost of the car is the cost. You don't have a driver. You don't have to worry about working them too many hours. You don't have to worry about paying them. You don't have to worry about paying unemployment or any of that nonsense. There's no driver. And yeah, for people that drive, they're like, but that's an easy way to make money. I get that. And I think a lot of people have gone away from sort of more traditional oriented jobs and driven or do what Uber Eats and some of that weird crap. And again, more power to you if that's what you're doing. I mean, if you're having to do that to make some extra money. But these are the types of jobs. I mean, lawyers are going to hate this because a lot of what law is going to be replaced by AI. A huge amount of what law will be replaced by AI. And you shouldn't have to pay an insane amount of money to do a lot of that stuff, right? Now, lawyers are like, that's not fair. I went to school. I get you, but you charge way too much money for something that you charge too much money for, but you can and have been able to, and that's going to change. Doctors, too. They're going to automate a lot of surgeries at some point. So, yeah, things are changing, folks. Things are changing. Just embrace the change. Figure out how to get into something that you like. And, I mean, seriously, we'll all find a way. We'll figure it out. We'll get there. We're not, they're not going to just throw you out in the street and be like, haha, AI took over your house. You'll be like, shit, that man, I had a decent Wednesday going. And then that happened, or, well, Thursday, I guess, if I'm going to try to be correct, right? Stocks are tripped today. I'm laughing. So if they went down a little, then up, then down, and now they're up like 100, like 0.24%. S&P, much the same. So, like, good news, bad news, good news, bad news. It's just hilarious what is happening. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Again, it's so... the VIX, the whole thing with the VIX is the higher the VIX means the less certainty people have in the economy, right? The more unstable it is, basically. The lower the VIX, the more cool and chill people are with the economy. The VIX has been all over the place because it's all emotional. Gold is actually doing really well. It's up over 34 right now, but it's been chilling at 33.5 for a while. Like it'll go up, it'll come back, it'll go up, it'll come back. I mean, I think it's going to take off again, and there's a lot of people talking about that. Silver too. I actually picked up a little more silver recently just because, and I'm paying more than spot when I buy it, but I'm almost sure it's going to go way the hell above what I paid for it. Silver's a fun one. And silver's something everybody can afford. Like everybody can afford. In fact, if there's a pawn shop anywhere near you and you're someone that doesn't have a lot of money, you got a couple $100 extra, go into a pawn shop. See if you can get a couple silver coins, silver anything. Be like, what do you got that's silver? And find out. Get something. You'll be surprised. It's kind of cool. And it helps you feel wealthy. It's very strange. When you have, it's one thing I made my girlfriend do one time, and it made a big difference with her. And it's actually, she's manifested a house now because of it. But I had her take money from every paycheck and put it into this. We put a vase, basically. It was a big glass vase, and we put it in her office, and she shoved cash into it. And so sitting right next to her desk over there where I keep her chained, where she crack the whip and I make her work about an hour and a half a month, she has this just big giant thing full of money. And she always knew that in her mind. Everywhere she went, she had this big thing of money. And so she felt more wealthy. And it's funny what the feeling is. That power of that feeling is it changes everything. It's one thing to try to manifest wealth, be like, I just imagine I have it already. And it's like really hard to do when you don't have anything. But you can take a little bit, shove it in a drawer or shove it in a vase where you can see it, and just a few $100. You'd be amazed how quickly a little bit will save up. And now you got like $500, $600, $700, and you're like, dude, I actually got some money. And you feel different. Same thing happens with your wealth. You got your wealth right now in something that's very sketchy, very emotional. People are ready to freak out any second. And because of that, it could cause you to lose a bunch of wealth overnight because a bunch of people, or at least that's my rendition. You don't have to be a slave. I don't feel that way with precious metals. Precious metals hold value. That's what they do. They always have, statistically, always have. Again, I love using the idea of pirates with their gold treasure. They had chests with coins. A little bit of jewelry, but for the most part, it was gold and silver. It's the best storage of wealth. It's wealth that you can take with you wherever you go. It's one of the best ways to feel like everything's fine, because it is. Prices of gold and silver are definitely going up. We're expecting that. There's unquestionable with the way things are shaping up, what the deep state's trying to do, and what needs to ultimately happen with the Fed. We can see things happening, moving in that direction. Don't be caught, don't be caught on your weak foot, if you will. Don't be caught waiting. Don't be caught thinking that you can do this quickly before things get out of hand. No, you have to jump on it before things get out of hand, because the second it starts to really get out of hand, it's too late. And then things have to go south bad enough to where everybody agrees the Fed has got to go. You don't have to be in that group. You could be in the precious metal side of this, and you actually do well. You make money. Right now, the asset gold is up. It's up like 45%, 50%. It's up a bunch over year. It's way up above inflation. It's going beyond actually holding value. It's actually added value, which is kind of weird, but it happens. And right now with paper contracts and everything like that, that's the expectation, is that there is a lot of reduced value that will creep back in and show itself. Gold, they say, will destroy the Fed. Don't be caught on your heels. Don't be caught, I don't know what the analogy is. I keep wanting to, don't be caught flat-footed. I think is maybe what I'm thinking. Be ready for this. And that way you don't have to stress. You don't have to worry about all the emotionalism. Go to drslikesgold.com. 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 Up to 10% of your 401k or IRA, up to 10% of that free silver they're giving to you. I'm telling you, that's a sweet deal right there. Free half-ounce Ronald Reagan collectible coin right there. 4 data points. The same 4 data points all over. They want you to call, I think, within 20 minutes if you can. That'd be awesome. It just helps, right? You're going to get, a free Ronald Reagan coin. You're going to get potentially up to 10% of free silver. You're going to get this Donald Trump, Your Financial Future book. You're going to get the gold and silver kit, so you can learn about the gold and silver IRA, and that's essentially, it's literally taking their system, their 401k, their IRA, their stock money, transferring it over to precious metals, put those precious metals into a trust, and bada bing, bada boom, you literally own physical precious metals, and it's an IRA. It's fantastic. It's a great vehicle to hide some of your tax, too. I mean, right? Until you take that money, then you get taxed, but it's deferred prior. So IRAs are a lot of fun. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. And we know they will. That's what they want to do. House strips the reconciliation bill. So there was part of the bill that the House parliamentarians said this is actually not really a reconciliation with this in there, so they pulled that out. I think that had to do with, I think they were trying to claw back some money. I think they were trying to claw back some money, and that was something that wasn't allowed. So they removed it and then re-voted on it in the House, which is cool, or at least it passed the party lines, which they exchanged. And they did this, I think, instead of doing a whole vote for everybody, they did this just so they, I think, approved the provisions or something to that effect. But they pushed this through. I don't know if anything else changed. They've been a little quick and secretive, sort of, about this. Yeah, some people are calling it sneaky. We'll see. we'll see. It at least got the one thing out that had to get out. It doesn't deal with anything like Rand Paul's concerns. He's like, dude, if they get rid of the debt ceiling thing, I'm all in. Like, that's my only beef he's got with it, I guess. So there's that. So who knows? I don't know what's going on. Like, it seems to me that if they were going to vote, they should have tried to change the few things while they were in there. But maybe that's where you get into problems, right? Maybe it just gets too complex. And, Speaker Johnson knows what he's doing. I certainly don't when it comes to that nonsense. So whatever. We'll see. House passes a bill to remove non-citizen voting in the District of Columbia. They're no longer allowed to vote there. And it's kind of funny because District of Columbia shouldn't really have a mayor. It's not really supposed to. I think they did it just almost ceremonially, but Congress is in charge of the District of Columbia and any of these federal-type lands. I believe Puerto Rico and a lot of these places are the same, like our territories specifically, and that's what D.C. is. It's a territory of essentially the company, the United States Corporation, really. But Congress is in charge of that, not the proposed mayor, Bowser. Is that the one in D.C.? Or am I confusing her with the, Mayor Bowser, I think. Yeah. She reminds me of the one in L.A., but that's Bass. They just look similar because they're both DEI hires and they have that short hair or whatever the hell's going on. I don't know, folks. I don't freaking know. House just voted again, 213 to 207 to move the bill forward. This is for the Doge cuts. Wow, same exact numbers. I mean, not surprised, but surprised, I guess, a little. Lost the numbers already, wherever they were. Man, it's over here. There it was. 213 to 207. What do we got? We got 213, 207. Yeah, it's exactly party lines for the Doge cuts. Again, funny, right? Like, isn't it weird that nobody on the left wants to cut any of this waste and fraud? I mean, the USAID money, the NPR, PBS, nope. Because all that stuff is their propaganda nonsense. It's just, again, it's kind of a trip, I think. But, yeah, it is what it is. Republicans barrel towards a risky vote on the Doge cuts. Well, they passed the vote, so I don't know how risky it was. That's kind of funny. Those are slightly out of order. Bernie Sanders and Angus King, I guess is independent from Maine. Really? We have two independents? They've introduced legislation that would ban pharmaceutical companies from advertising prescription drugs directly to consumers across all platforms. A whole bunch of senators and House members, mostly senators, are paid for by pharma. A whole bunch of them. This will be extremely difficult to pass. This might have to be an EO at some point because they shouldn't be allowed to. There's only two places in the world that allow it, and nobody should. And we know what it does too. It just it creeps into everybody's mind. I mean, we use the most drugs in this world probably. And we are the least healthy of many of the societies, especially, well, we are the least healthy of the societies that have technology. I mean, hell, we're probably less healthy than some of these. Like, what's that island where the people are? Like, the dude tried to go out there and they killed him, and then another dude went out there and he got arrested, but they, these guys just don't want anything to do with outsiders. I feel like they're probably healthier than we are, and that's why they hate outsiders, because we made them sick. So we'll see. This legislation is it's going to prohibit all promotional communications targeting consumers. I mean, they're going to literally TV, ad, like all forms of advertising, print, digital, social, television. That's freaking awesome. That will, by the way, put a lot of news organizations out of commission. I love the fact that Bernie Sanders is behind it. He kind of got called out for being sponsored by pharma, and he says, no. Well, he is, but not anymore if he keeps that up. Trump's going to sign a resolution on California's EV rules. Just putting an end to it. He's like, hell to the no is exactly what he's doing.
And President Trump is set to nix California's plan for electric vehicles. The White House confirmed that Trump will sign a measure this morning. Here's more on that.
The White House says the president will sign 3 congressional resolutions on Thursday, barring the state's EV mandates and diesel engine rules. That will block California's plan to end the sale of gasoline-only vehicles by 2035. Another resolution will block the state's moves to require a rising number of zero-emission heavy trucks. The American Petroleum Institute called Trump's move a victory for American consumers and manufacturers. It's also a big win for auto firms including General Motors and Toyota, which had lobbied hard against California's rules. GM said the change would help align emission standards with market realities. Back in 2020, California had set out a plan to require all new cars to be electric or plug-in hybrid by 2035. Now, State Governor Gavin Newsom has vowed to challenge the repeals in court. He says the action is illegal and will cost California taxpayers $45 billion in extra healthcare costs. The new moves are just the latest in a series of actions taking aim at electric vehicles. A separate bill passed by the House of Representatives in May would end a $7,500 tax credit for new EVs.
That is one good-looking girl. Anyway, so I'm a bad man. We've got this thing. They're saying it's going to cost $45 billion in health costs because, pollution, they're going to say, I guess? We don't even have the infrastructure for the electricity, and because of our electrical infrastructure that currently exists, we start fires every year, which releases insane amounts of carbon. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, Gavin Newsom. I feel like you're, I don't know. I don't want to call you names per se at the moment, Gavin Newsom, but I do not agree with you. I think you are 100% wrong. Cassidy is in a bit of a bind, it seems, as RFK Jr. blows up the vaccine policy. This is the chair of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee, publicly wavered over Kennedy's confirmation, sharply criticizing his views before eventually voting for him. Cassidy said he secured a series of promises about vaccine safety, including for Kennedy to not undercut public confidence in vaccines. She says, if Mr. Kennedy is confirmed, I will use my authority to rebuff any attempts to remove the public's access to life-saving vaccines without ironclad causational scientific evidence that can be defended. Well, okay. Gotcha. Wow. I don't know what's going on. I can't see it. It's too far away. I'm curious as hell, though. Anywho, long story short, she's saying that life-saving vaccines, like removing them, he's not removed them. He's taken them off the mandatory list. You can go get it if you want, right? If you want to go get it, go get it. He hasn't removed it from you. He's just not made it mandatory, which, again, is still significantly better than what a lot of these crazy people are talking about. RFK Jr. announces new members of this vaccine advisory panel. Oh, yeah, that was part of that story, too. He wasn't supposed to fuck with that panel, and he did. And so she was pissed off about that. But he's already replaced the members. So, but he said he wouldn't touch it. And I thought, again, that was the whole point of this. And that was which was kind of interesting because by them specifically saying, look, if you're confirmed, tell me you're not going to mess with this. It goes, if confirmed, Kennedy will maintain the Center for Disease Control and Prevention's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices without changes, Cassidy wrote. Why was she so afraid that he would change that? Anyway, he changed the board. He did. Who cares what they thought, right? First off, politicians lie, so whatever. He got in, and I think most of us agree with what he's doing, and Cassidy maybe doesn't. Who cares what Cassidy thinks? Hopefully Cassidy's not going to be around too much longer, but he did replace the 8 new members. Dr. Robert Malone was definitely one of them. Dr. Joseph Hibeln, and Dr. Cody Meisner. They're 3 of the main noted people. And then they got the others that I could get a few of those names right. But yeah, those are really, I thought Robert Malone was the big one. He's the guy that invented the RNA technology. So kind of a good guy to have on that panel. And he had a good post too. He put something out basically like, I'm honored and I'll do my best to uphold this or whatever. It was pretty cool. Wisconsin, they're breaking from the CDC. They're going to keep the COVID-19 vaccine recommendations for pregnant women, because you're not even allowed to take like a Tylenol, or you're not even supposed to eat sushi. But getting an mRNA vaccine, totally cool. No, totally it's okay. Even though the CDC doesn't recommend it, Wisconsin knows better. If you're pregnant and you choose to do that, that's your choice, right? You are affecting another individual with that choice, but it is what it is. I can't force people to do anything. Hungary sues European Commission. They're getting fined. Hungary is €1 million a day fine because they're not refusing any more of the illegal migrants that have been just streaming across the board. They're like, nope, we're done. Thank you. And European Union's like, look, here's the deal. If you don't accept them, then we're going to fine you $1 million a day. And I don't know, right now they're like, F you. We're not going to pay you $1 million a day either. I don't know how this is going to play out, but they're, of course, appealing this to the European Court, which, again, they don't answer to anybody. This will be the fracturing of the European Union. I mean, it needs to happen. That's another thing that needs to occur. And so we're watching that kind of play out as well. North Korea stopped the border loudspeaker broadcast. This just has to make everyone happier at the borders. Everyone. South Korea is no longer broadcasting whatever stupid shit they were broadcasting, and North Korea is no longer broadcasting whatever stupid shit they were broadcasting. They've literally stopped broadcasting noise at each other. Again, weird. It works. Weird, right? It'd be like California's pissed off at, I don't know, who would be most people? Nevada, for some reason. Damn Nevada. And then we just, all along the border, we just line up a bunch of loudspeakers and just blast, like, I don't know, Disney songs or something stupid. I don't know what we'd do to be annoying. It would have to be something reasonably gay, I would assume, but I mind went blank, So they stopped. That's cool. Denmark approves U.S. military bases on Danish soil. This is going to tie into that Greenland thing. Again, everyone's like, no, never going to go there. Denmark's like, no, never going to go there. Never, ever, ever. And then supposedly, Denmark, you've now approved U.S. military bases on Danish soil? Okay. Again, I don't know what's going on. A lot of people saying a lot of things, but what's happening's happening, right? So that's interesting. Yeah, there's some of that. TWC.health. Guys, check out the parasite thing. Again, I've spent way too much time on advertisements today, but the ivermectin, mebendazole, go on the best sellers. This right here is your parasite cleanse. 3 months supply. This is solid stuff. I know a bunch of you guys are trying to get it. I think they're a small little sellout thing going on. There is a medical intake form, so fill out what you got to fill out. You're literally getting a prescription. This is legal and all that good stuff. If you guys have done any research whatsoever about parasites and what parasites are involved with and how they affect our bodies, you understand that a parasite cleanse is something that's going to do you an enormous amount of good. It's a 3-month cleanse. You are literally taking 90 pills, 90 capsules. I would assume it's 3 bottles of 30 would be my assumption. But 25 milligram of the Ivers, and you got 250 milligrams of mebendazole. This is the gold standard when it comes to knocking parasites out. I've been enjoying a bit of a parasite cleanse. I'm almost a month into it, and I'm noticing some major positive differences. Huge. I'm also doing the skin thing, which I'm also noticing a benefit from too. So again, it's weird how when you focus on doing healthy things, you just tend to be healthier, whatever the case is. Go to twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF. Go to bestsellers, hit that ivermectin, mebendazole. They've also got the awesome emergency kits. If you go under shop, the emergency kits, there's incredible stuff. The Contagion, that's the one that's got the Ivers, the hydroxychloroquine. It's got the Z-Pack in there. It's got some really good stuff in there. Again, check those kits out. Also got a travel kit. If you spend a lot of time in your car, you should always have emergency stuff in your car. Emergency food, emergency drink, like protein bars or something. You should definitely have waters. You should have sneakers or tennis shoes or something to that effect. Ladies, especially you that work and wear heels, always have a pair of tennis shoes in your car. Always. In case something happens and you end up having to walk for miles and miles. Also, you should have like a jacket and you should have a blanket. Always. 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 All right, so have some stuff in your car and make sure you're safe and get this kit to kill off all the parasites because parasites suck bad. twc.health/OTF. There you go. Argentina is moving Israel's embassy to Jerusalem as well. This will be happening next year, which is pretty interesting. Right now, there's major high alert thing going on with Israel. Israel with Iran, with the United States. I don't know. We're pulling people out of all sorts of different places. Iran is saying anybody anywhere near them in range is a possible target. Something is about to happen. We don't know exactly when. It would seem maybe under the guise or the noise of what happens on the 14th. Almost wouldn't be a surprise if that's the day it happens. But I'm not sure if this is going to be us attacking the United States or if Israel is going to do something or what. I mean, again, there's a lot of speculation happening. Trump's even kind of hinted. I don't know if I've got any of that audio, but yeah, I mean, he's even hinting at it. The expectations, the drop in prices of some stuff, the going up of some prices, the expectation is something very large is going to happen that will affect world commodity prices, and that is usually something that freaks people out. UN says full internet blackout in Gaza has occurred. It's paralyzing aid operations they're whining about, but it also has to make you wonder, why did everything go dark like that? Here's Donald Trump talking about this lack of confidence with Iran right now.
Do you think you're going to be able to stop Iran from enriching its...
I don't know. I did think so. And I'm getting more and more less confident about it. They seem to be delaying, and I think that's a shame, but I'm less confident now than I would have been a couple of months ago. Something happened to them, but I am much less confident of a deal being made. I would have said a deal would be made.
Something happened to them?
No, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
like
I really...
China talked
I
them
have
out
instincts about things.
You think China talked them out of it?
No, I don't think China has anything to do with it. I just think maybe they don't want to make a deal. What can I say? And maybe they do.
So what does that mean?
There's nothing final.
What happens then?
Well, if they don't make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
If they do make a deal, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon too. But they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, so it's not going to matter from that standpoint. But it would be nicer to do it without warfare, without people dying.
Yeah.
It's so much nicer to do it. But I don't think I see the same level of enthusiasm for them to make a deal. I think I think they would make a mistake, but we'll see. I guess time will tell.
Yeah, many are saying that Iran's actually full well no intention of getting rid of this, and they would rather force the United States into doing something that maybe would be received poorly in the rest of the world. But I don't believe that's the case. I actually think most of the world, even the Arab world, is going to be a safer place without Iran having nuclear weapons that they would most likely use or give away to somebody who would use them. Hamas attacks a bus of workers from American aid group in Gaza. Apparently 5 people were killed. There's some hostages going on. Not 100% sure what this is all about, but yeah, 24 members of a Gaza Humanitarian Foundation team, local Palestinians working side by side with the U.S. They're trying to deliver critical aid, whatever. These guys got attacked by Hamas. This just feels, I don't know, this feels very meant to inspire emotion by us, from us, to allow for more attacks in Israel. That's what this feels like to me. Now, again, if attacks have to happen, I wish we understood better why and what targets really are left, and is there some deep state stuff, like all of the conspiracy stuff that we would love to know about. We don't have any of that information, so it's just like, all right, so how much longer do you got to keep killing people? Because at some point, we want you to stop killing people. That's a for sure. Right? That's a for sure. Hopefully soon. Russia's basically saying, look, we're not going to end the Ukraine war until NATO pulls its forces out of our eastern flank. They basically want NATO to move back. I mean, they've crept up. They said they wouldn't. They have. I'm curious if NATO, what's going to happen on this one. Trump might be able to play some hardball and threaten to pull out if they don't. Maybe kick some of these countries out. Who knows? We'll see. But this, the eastern flank of NATO, or essentially Russia's western flank, if you will, or neighbors, like Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria all didn't used to be NATO members. They're all recently been, reasonably recently, added to NATO. And this is one of the things that we had a treaty with Russia, and we broke this treaty Well, at least that many times. Over and over. Macron threatened social media ban for minors. He said there was a fatal stabbing that occurred at a school, and it happened because of social media. So he's going to shut down social media to the entire country because a school had a stabbing. Hey, Macron, we'll just make stabbing or knives illegal. How about that? Just make knives illegal. See? Solved your problem there. You guys never actually be able to cut food ever again. But, you'll just bash people in the head with rocks at schools. But yeah, this 14-year-old student was attacked a 31-year-old teaching assistant during a school bag check for weapons, then injured a police officer with the same knife. Yeah, this is what they're worried about stopping. I mean, again, France is a joke. They took over the dude from Durov from Telegram. It's just a mess. What's going on in France is just, a horrible mess. And we saw the smack in the face. Who knows? It's all coming down in a big way, but it is what it is. A little bit of geek stuff. I don't know. This, who cares? It's just a Linux thing. It's not that big a deal. Musk says Tesla robotaxi rides could begin June 22nd in Austin, Texas. Maybe a little later, depending. We'll see. That's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's kind of cool, kind of scary, kind of weird. I don't know. All the above. Trump roasts the actors. Roasts, kind of way overstatement, but basically says, I don't care about these people that said they weren't going to come tonight because I'm here or whatever. Here's Trump. And by the way, Melania is just such an extraordinarily beautiful woman. And just the way she carries herself, she's so regal. She's just an amazing woman.
It's been reported that some actors may be boycotting.
I couldn't care less, honestly. All I do is run the country well. The economic numbers, you saw them today, they're setting records. We took $88 billion in tariffs in 2 months, far beyond what anybody expected. There's no inflation. People are happy. People are wealthy. The country is getting back to strength again. That's what I care about. And we're going to have a safe country. We're not going to have what would have happened in Los Angeles. Remember, if I wasn't there, if I didn't act quickly on that, Los Angeles would be burning to the ground right now. Thank you.
She's got to hate being first lady. I mean, she probably likes it, as much as she can, but compared to the life they had prior, that's just a bummer. And the final story, this is just, I don't know, more of insanity. A New York judge declared a mistrial on the third-degree rape count in Harvey Weinstein's sex crimes retrial on Thursday. Apparently, the jury foreman refused to return to deliberate. So they had to call a mistrial because the foreman refused to come back. Sounds like somebody was paying somebody some money, but that's assumption. Don't know for sure, whatever the case. Holy crap. So much going on. Got a great Law of One show that's going to be kicking off here in about an hour and 26 minutes. Not that I'm counting, but it should be a good one. I hope you guys have a chance to check it out and enjoy. And outside of that, we've got a great music show coming up tomorrow. Going to be doing Kenny Loggins heavily inspired it. It's going to be kind of along the lines of Footloose and some Top Gun kind of genre. We've got songs that are similar about love. I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's just that whole type of music that was around those movies and Kenny Loggins and some others. We got, again, just some great music. It's going to be fun. I think you guys will enjoy it and just fun walk down memory lane. So hopefully you guys will join us for that. That'll be tomorrow, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. Please join us for that. All said, I wish you guys a wonderful weekend. Be safe. A lot of expectations for what's supposed to happen on Saturday. I we'll see, right? I don't know. So far, we're winning big time. And I don't think it's going to go the way the deep state wants, but they're going to keep trying. So if you see something, say something. Keep positive thoughts in your mind and be prepared, always. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.